much.
Right.
Judy Sheldon, wow. Who's ready for a TED Talk? That was incredible. Thank you very much for that. So hi everyone, my name's Daniel Sanchez Grant. I work at InVision, I'm a sales leader there. Been at InVision now for just over a year. For those of you that aren't familiar with InVision, we are a collaboration platform for digital product design. We were founded several years ago. We've grown to 800 people in that time. We're Series F. We've got around 350 million in funding. And in the last 2 years, we launched in what we refer to as international, which is every market outside of North America. As part of that, we've grown to about 60 people in international. And what I'm going to talk to you all about today is a little bit of that journey, but also what it's like to work in a fully distributed business where everyone is remote. So the first thing I'd say about InVision is we're in this really exciting space where we are evangelizing the power of design. So if you think about what's happened in the last several years, digital transformation has just changed every single organization, where arguably now the screen has become the most important place in the world. And so with that, companies have disrupted entire industries with the swipe of a thumb, and that's all about user experience and design-centric approach. And so with that, we started with companies like Airbnb and Spotify, with designers using InVision to collaborate design ideas around their organization and get stakeholder feedback. And today, we're now the operating system for digital product design, where companies like HSBC and Lloyd's use InVision from the idea right through to developing what is now like mobile applications, etc. So that's InVision. I guess our journey is like, how do you apply design thinking to both the sales process so that we can empower our teams to have great engagements with customers, but also to the employee experience, so that in a fully distributed remote environment where culture arguably becomes even more important, how do you create an environment where people can thrive, where it's inclusive, where people feel inspired, even from the comfort of their own home? So on the first topic of sales process, a couple of things, and ties in nicely to the last topic around know your audience. We've got a self-service business with 5 million designers on our platform. From a sales point of view, we often have this gravitational pull towards product and feature conversations. And what we've tried to do is up-level the entire conversation around value and business outcomes. So when we understood that every salesperson, irrespective of how they prepped and went into calls, was being pulled into conversations around products and features, we recognized that there was a problem, and we designed something called a value pyramid. And really, this is just a research framework that provides the person going into a customer conversation with a vocabulary around the customer's organization, from their company goals down to their strategic initiatives, everything you can find out online to start the conversation about the customer. So rather than going in and being pulled into an InVision conversation around prototyping, we standardize a process that every first conversation salesperson has to research and prepare a value pyramid, which is all about the customer organization. And we've seen that from that, every single opportunity size now across our business has increased by 50%. And the types of outcomes we're seeing in terms of business cases that we can develop off the back of that has been really quite transformational to that value-based approach. That's one example. Second example is around up-leveling the conversation. We found that we were often in the design organization, and we love designers. That's our community. They've taken our business incredibly far, but we also recognize that getting them the support and evidence that they need in their organization to buy software requires other types of engagement from outside of design. And so to try and support that, we created an application form for every salesperson in international where they could submit a customer or a prospect, and it would go to our board. And we created a leaderboard for all of our investors. And now we've activated the networks of those investors by gamifying who gets us the most introductions in our sales team. And that's been great. It goes into every board meeting. Our investors see it. There's a little bit of competition, who can get us more leads. And I just think that's been a really powerful way to like bring other people into our process and get more conversations. But it doesn't stop there. At LinkedIn, we did it for our executive team. And I remember there was one individual in particular who was always like 15 to 20 times higher than every other executive. We put them on a leaderboard. We got them to work. It had a big impact. The final thing I'll just talk about is the employee experience, particularly in a remote environment where everyone's distributed. Imagine a world where you join at a company, we're growing really quickly, new processes change all the time, and your first day is like your living room. So we give you a laptop, we give you a phone. How do you create an experience for those types of people where they still feel connected to your company? And in that situation, we really lent into the type of culture that we wanted to create. So again, design thinking, we spoke to a whole bunch of stakeholders, did some user research, and we defined a set of values, a vocabulary for thinking about beyond results at InVision, what does great look like? How can we celebrate behaviors and activities, the leading indicators that are going to drive those results? And we created an employee launch book. We integrated those values into the way we reward and develop and inspire, using Slack channels to call specific activities out from people that are doing really well in their roles. And that's just really changed the way in which we celebrate people, the way in which we bring people into the company. And we've even integrated it into a step-by-step 30, 60, 90-day onboarding plan where there's like 100 items that someone needs to go through that we've validated with our top performers is what's going to make you successful in your role at InVision. And so with that, what I'd just say is design thinking as a kind of concept is something we evangelize to our customers, but we're continuously trying to apply it internally too. But we've made some mistakes, right? When you're building a category and there's not necessarily a line item for standardized software design, content and community become so important. So on the content piece, you know, what point of view have you got on, for us, like design being a differentiator? We've done research, we've got a blog that's read by 1 million people, we've got podcasts. So remember how important content can be in the role that you're trying to help your sales team. And then on the community front, don't forget the role that you can have in helping individuals in businesses understand the value of their roles to their organization. And for that, we developed what we call the Design Leadership Forum, which has 1,000 digital leaders globally, where we host these intimate dinners, tool agnostic, no software, nothing about product. It's just how do we bring a community in an environment together around a topic that they care about, and how do we create value through those networks? So on the topic of like helping salespeople, hopefully there's a few things that you can take from that that are actionable, that are specific. And then at a company level, like sales and process, and I think you talked about like medic and all of these things are fantastic, but don't forget the role of the top of the funnel in terms of like having something to say, the content that you have, the community that you serve, all really powerful levers in building a business. So that's it from me. Great to meet you all. Happy to take questions on the panel, but really appreciate the time.
Cheers. Yeah, listen.